Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning everyone. Welcome. So today's session is titled AI Artificial Intelligence in Oil and Gas, where we'll explore how artificial intelligence is transforming the oil and gas industry from improving operational efficiency and decision making to enabling smarter and more sustainable operations. So we are truly honored to have with us IR Razak Yaakob, a highly respected industry professional with extensive experience in drilling engineering. He's also the SME in drilling, the Vice President of the of Engineers Malaysia (IEM), and also serving as the Board of Members of the Board of Engineers Malaysia (BEM). We are delighted to have him to share his knowledge and experience with us today. Okay, without further ado, it is my great pleasure to invite our speaker, IR Razak Yaakob, to begin today's session.
All right. Thank you so much. Can you all hear me well? Can you all hear me well? Yes, I'm seeing a good response over there. That means all of you can hear me well. Some of you actually. So let me share my screen right now. You all can see my screen, right? Can I have a thumbs up? They can see my screen? You can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. In that case, we can start right now. Okay, we have this recorded. Let me just. Okay, the topic that I'm talking about today is about artificial intelligence in the oil and gas industry. So, how basically the digital technologies are transforming the energy industry that we have today. This topic is a very how should I say this, a popular topic nowadays. Everyone wants to do apa ni, artificial intelligence. Everyone wants to do digitalization. What exactly does this actually mean? So, but the talk that I'm going to give today, the course that I'm giving today, is a 2 hour session. There's not much that I can cover because there's a whole lot of things that you would want to know about artificial intelligence in the oil and gas industry. But I will try to squeeze as much knowledge as possible in this. But at the same time, I will try to make it fun for you all to actually, be part of the session right now. So participants right now, we are having 107 you guys. So thank you so much for coming over. We actually open up to 350 slots and all actually are taken up. So thank you so much for the support and thank you so much. May I know if there's anyone over here actually know me personally? Can I see thumbs up or love sign? Okay, that's good. All right, so let's move on over here from exploration to production, reshaping the industry and preparing engineers for the next wave of digital transformation. So, what is it right now? So, right now we have artificial intelligence, we have autonomous drilling, we have everything going on with us. You have cars that drive on its own on the street right now. So what is next actually, and how you can actually prepare yourself for the next wave of digital transformation? Okay, are you seeing the difference? Okay, all right. So a little bit about myself. I know well, Puan Aimi just now has talked a little bit about myself. Just would like to you all to know, whenever that you hear someone speaking, you actually would like to know them first, whether they are credible to actually be talking about the things that I'm talking about over here. So I have my degree from the Colorado School of Mines in petroleum engineering. So is Puan Aimi. Puan Aimi also graduated with petroleum engineering, and we over at FASMIA over here, FASMIA Technology, we focus on the technology used in the upstream oil and gas industry. So we have solutions from the subsurface all the way until the production is done, and that is the upstream of the oil and gas industry. So, if you would like to know more, as what Amy mentioned just now, go over our to LinkedIn, go over to our website. You can find a little bit more about Phasmia technology. So, I basically started off as a drilling engineer, and I am still in drilling engineering. It's just that I focus a little bit more into the AI and automation, digitalization effort that we have over here. In fact, currently, I am doing an engineering doctorate with UTM, where I focus on well digitalization implementation. Why basically we cannot go far? Why basically we cannot go deep into the AI in the oil and gas industry? So I hope from this 2 hour session, you all will gain as much as possible about understanding what oil and gas digitalization in oil and gas industry is all about. Yeah. So if you all are an engineer, I would like to propose that you all be registered with the Board of Engineers Malaysia, because that is the next step for you to actually to be the professional engineer. I am a professional engineer with practicing certificate, but for a professional engineer and professional engineer practicing with practicing certificate, they are basically at the same level. It's just that one will need the capability to be able to send or submit their drawings or design for authorization for approval by the local authorities. So that is all, a little bit about Board of Engineers Malaysia and what is important to you. But before we go into detail, I just would like to know you a little bit more. So I would like to actually do a poll over here, a poll survey. So Puan Aimi, can we have the poll survey run in? Can I? Yes. Okay, the poll basically says what best describes you, and I would like to see who am I talking to, because I cannot possibly be asking each one of you what you are doing, but I would like to get to know um, the participants in the session over here, whether I am talking your language, or because whenever that I conduct any session, I would actually like people to have the most out of your 2 hour session or one whole day whatsoever. So that is why I would like to know. I'm very surprised that I only have 5% of students, because when I open up this course, I really, really open it up for students so that they can actually get the idea of what the outside the oil and gas industry is doing with regards to the AI. So we do have 25% of the recent graduates looking for opportunities. You come at the right place. With this information that you get over here, you get some idea when you go to interviews later. What are the things that we have right now, what issues that we have right now. And we have working professionals, 37% of you with less than 5 years, and 33% with more than 5 years. I'm very, very impressed with the participants that we have today. So we are ready. So this is poll number one. So let's get on with it. I'm going to go and talk about, let's end the poll, and we can share the results as well. Yeah. Okay. All right. So out of the 125 that we have right now, we know that many of you are working professionals. Is there another poll about the whether they are um, yeah. But before that, probably share kemudian that one. Okay, while you are actually there, it's okay. While you are answering the poll, I would like to actually talk about what basically will you and I will be sharing in the next 2 hours. Yeah. Number one is I would like you all to understand the role of AI and digital technology in modern operations. Okay, let me tell you one thing that oil and gas industry has embraced the digitalization since probably 1999, the year 2000. The, the digitalization has started in the oil and gas industry. Now we come over to the point at which we are at the juncture of bringing in the new set of digitalization with the introduction of artificial intelligence, machine learning. There's so much more new technology that is added into digitalization effort. So that's the reason why, the last 25 years, you already see digitalization in the oil and gas industry, but now we are going into a different era of digitalization. AI, machine learning, autonomous drilling, automation. So there's so much more. So next item that I would like you all to actually grasp from this 2 hour session is recognizing the key industry challenges that AI is built to address. So what exactly AI is trying to fix in the digitalization that we already have in the oil and gas industry. And next is identify the practical application across the oil and gas value chain. What does it actually mean? Actually does it mean by oil and gas value chain? From the moment that you get the hydrocarbon from the bottom of the sea, from the 3 kilometers below the subsea, all the way to the surface and all the way into the tank of your car. So there is an entire oil and gas value chain from the raw material all the way until it reaches the people like you and me, the consumers. And then we also have the adapt the competencies required for engineers to thrive. How you as engineers are actually, making use of this opportunity of the AI and digitalization that we have in the oil and gas industry. So the poll number one has already got that. Have we actually got the poll number two in? So poll number two is I would like to know what actually is the work that you do. So are you an engineer? Are you an engineering technologist and are you an engineering technicians? Or you are not in the engineering profession yet? Or you are others. By means of others, it could be like, are you, you know, doing something else? And also there are two questions in the polls over there. And are you currently or planning to join the oil and gas industry? So that's why I wanted to know. So let's see how it's doing. 22% of you are engineers, and I love to see that 20% of you are actually engineering technologies. Okay, engineering technologies is an up and coming profession, engineering profession in Malaysia. Why basically they are so important in Malaysia right now? Because engineering technologies are engineering that uses technology, and one of them is actually using of the AI. So if you are here in this particular course of using the AI in the oil and gas, you're at the right place because you are basically what we are targeting this for the engineers that uses technology to complete or to solve any problem. And how about engineer? While we are talking about the difference in terms of the engineering profession, engineers basically uses the principles of science to solve the engineering problem. And of course, the technician uses mostly the handwork itself to actually complete the work. And do not distinguish between all three of them. All three of them are so important in the industry. And don't even think about like engineering technician less more than engineers or engineering technologists, because in oil and gas industry, I can tell you, engineering technician can earn a lot more than engineers and engineering technologies. Yeah. Now, please do not underestimate, because engineering technologies, a technician in oil and gas, they are so important, as they are the one who actually do the work, to actually, it's a they use their hand to actually conduct the work, and they are basically the 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 the, the, the power that bring the industry up. Yeah. And 18% of you are not in the engineering profession. That means you are in the AI. So basically you are very much welcome to understand as well. And the second poll basically talks about, yeah, whether you are currently working in the oil and gas industry. 33% of you is working in the oil and gas industry, and 49% of you is actually uh, planning to join. Welcome to the oil and gas industry. And of course, 19% of you are interested but undecided. So we have a very good, I have like 36 people joining in the session right now. So let's go, and I'm going to stop sharing that part or share poll, and probably I will close. Okay, so now let us move on. Why basically AI is the most important? I have 10 people. Let me just admit all, and then rising cost of rising operational cost, margin pressure demanding unprecedented efficiency. So realize over here, let me just close this. Okay. In oil and gas industry, we have, the cost of operation keep on rising. So this is where AI comes in to actually work out how basically we can reduce the cost. How can we save on some of the parts where we spend a lot? Oil and gas industry uses so many kinds of technologies, and so much of manpower, and so much of processes. And most of these processes are hands-on, are people who actually conduct the work. So what we wanted to do is try to make these operations more efficient. The next item is aging workforce. So you have people like me who very soon will retire, and we do need people like most of you here. I can see that some of you are early stage of your career, 5 years down the into your career. This is the time where you need to grasp the idea of digitalization, the idea of AI, so that you can implement the work, not to replace the work that you are doing or will be doing, but to elevate the status of your work. Instead of you inputting data right now, I can tell you right now, I no longer take notes during meeting, because I have AI to do that. And I no longer go into the the Excel and try to put in data or create a table, because I can sketch a table on a paper, and I just take the picture of the sketch that I made, and I put it inside the chat GPT, and chat GPT comes up with a table that I can copy and paste, and do a whole lot of other things. So don't underestimate the power of human. We human will always be above the AI, will be above the digitalization. So the great crew change and the critical loss of legacy expertise. So people like me, I will need to actually, you know, part my knowledge and skill to the next generation. Will the next generation be able, ready to actually grasp this knowledge that I will pass on? This is where AI will come in. I will put all my, the things that I know into the database, where all of you can actually benefit from this. Yeah. Data explosion. You have heard about the data centers being built over in Johor and all that. So, and how data center uses so much of energy. And in oil and gas industry, we use lots and lots of data. Right now, if you are in the oil and gas industry and you are seeing a geological model or a drilling model out there, which actually gives you the ability to understand what is going on down there as you are drilling, or whenever that you wanted to analyze whether there's oil underground or not. Those are data. Those are the terabytes that is contributing to the use of the data center, the use of a lot of energy that we have, and the use of our water to cool down the system. You are part of the supply chain of making use of this AI tech and also digitalization technology. So think about it. You are the users, because I see that most of you are actually already in the oil and gas industry, and you are the engineers as well. So you are actually the contributor to that. So be known that you're already in this, and how can you thrive in this kind of time where data and also digitalization becomes the most important part of our daily life. So terabytes of operation data generated daily, generated, analyzed, presented, those are part of the supply chain of the information that you have. ESG and sustainability. Now, all of the companies, whether they are small or big, they are actually going in for the ESG and sustainability. What exactly does it mean? So, what actually it means is that you want to leave this world to the next generation as it is right now, or better. You do not want to leave this world with all the I guess you have seen a lot of the movies. I've seen a lot of movies, the Terminator and all that. Or probably that gives away the age, huh? Or no, not the Terminator. Some of the new movies that we have over here, that shows, the way of the world, if we don't really take care of this world. So that's why ESG and sustainability is important. And our national oil company Petronas is also into ESG, and whatever Petronas say in the oil and gas industry, that's what we listen as the oil and gas industry players down here. So we have the regulatory pressure, and also society's expectation, because most people right now, whenever that they want to buy, oh, why do I get an iPhone? Because iPhone is a responsible company that stress on ESG and sustainability in their production line. So, again, I maybe sound pretentious there. So, but that is the way many of parts of the world is doing. So we need to be here, and that's the reason why AI is so important. So right now, I would like you all to understand what exactly this terminology that you see from digitalization, digital transformation in AI-driven operations. So it's all started with digitization. What does it mean by digitization in the oil and gas industry? Later, I will share with you what exactly digitization, because okay, since you all know already how old I must be, I come from the time at which we see logs. Logs were read on the logs, not on the screen of a computer. Yeah. So from that log, I am one of those people who digitize the logs to be put inside the computer, and for the computer to actually generate that squiggle lines on the computer, and the squiggle lines to be processed and become the geological model that you have right now. You now see all colorful stuff, but I was the one who did the digitization. Later, I will show you how. And then we have the next, which is digitalization, automating existing processes. So this is where we create digital workflow. Yeah, digitalization is getting whatever that you have already digitized, and then you presented it over on your computer screen so that you can analyze further. And digital transformation is changing the business model and fundamentally altering how value is delivered through technology. So this is where digital transformation in oil and gas industry, digital transformation has started really, really early, earlier than any other industry. Why? Yes, because we have money. Oil and gas industry has got money. So that's the reason why we started it out first, digital transformation. So changing from the business model over here is not easy. And people is the hardest part of making this change. So from digitalization, digital transformation, and now we are into AI-driven operations. What does it actually mean? So we make use of whatever data that I digitize like 30 years ago, like 30 years ago, and then these are, and then the information that you have currently, and currently you have sensors to actually pick up all this information. You don't need people like me anymore to digitize. Okay, that sounds really great, isn't it? So that's why you always elevate yourself to the next level. So that's the reason why, even though I'm old, but I'm not out of touch from whatever that the industry need. That's what you need to do as well. And that's what you need to do in order for you to stay relevant in the oil and gas industry. Yeah. Because if you stop progressing, then that will be the end of you. But again, it depends on what exactly you want in your career. If your career is you just would like to come to the office, and then you like to do your work, and then you go back home and then come back the next morning, then you can be part of the office furniture, no problem. You can get money out of that. But if you're passionate about your career, if you would like to actually stay relevant in your career, so keep up the trend, understand where the trend is, and make yourself relevant. Yeah. Okay. AI driven operations. So system that analyze, predict, and generate insight autonomously to optimize the physical asset. Okay. So what exactly does it mean? Yeah. So we have the platforms over at the offshore, and we create a digital twin over there. So now we have a platform to play around with. So that is what AI driven operations is all about. So I can just say, "Ooh, turn on over here." Oh, yeah, shut down the operation. So you want to be able to do that. But again, I'm simplifying so that you can understand and be interested in the oil and gas industry. If I tell you all the hard part about the oil and gas industry, you probably would run away from the oil and gas industry. But then oil and gas industry is actually a very fun and rewarding industry to be in. And I would say is so relevant that we have right now that you would want to actually venture into if you have not been, or if you're not in the middle of it. Yeah. So I am going to share with you what well-logged digitalization is all about. Previously, what we have, yeah, raw data over here. This actually correspond to the sensor that we have downhole. What it is that for any kind of results that we have down there. So down there, when you talk about sensor, yeah, I hope all of you are engineers, you can understand what I'm trying to explain over here. Sensor, it is actually kind of dumb by itself. So what does it actually sense? So it sends sound. So the reflection of sound gives you a certain frequency. And that is the one that is actually presented in the squiggle lines. I hope you all are seeing my cursor. Yeah? So over here, this is where. So when you have all of these are called logs. Yeah. So what I would do, since this is a log, yeah, exponential log, so I would need to define, okay, this is 0 to 10, 10 to 100, and then I would need to define each one of this. Then what I would need to do is I will take this one needle that is actually connected to a machine that reads out positioning, yeah, position. So I would have to trace these lines over here, and inside the computer comes out with the number 0, 1, 0.123, 0.4, 0.5, 0.7, 0.8, 1, and then suddenly it comes out to, come back to 0 back. So it correlates with the depth, and it correlates with the corresponding what we have over here. So that is the tedious work, isn't it? So that is a tedious work that I actually have to do because 30 years ago, we don't have the technology that we have right now. So, that is what we have to do. But right now, all of this is actually, I can actually, not scan. I just can actually take the snapshot of this, and then I would just go into ChatGPT, and I can just tell ChatGPT, please put the numbers. I will define over here from zero to something. You just give me based on that scale. And ChatGPT will actually give me that numbers. Amazing, isn't it? What I used to have to work throughout the night just for like 1,000 meters depth now can actually be done in a few seconds. So realize how important and how powerful AI is to all of us, not just oil and gas industry, but all of us. So this is where the digitalization engine comes in and then visualize and analyze, and then they can put in with with technology. We come in with colors, and from these colors over here is translated into geological model. Amazing, isn't it? How much that we have actually go in from the squiggle lines into model. So, can AI replace engineers like you and me? Let's have a chat box, and I would like you all to answer this in the chat box so that the chat box can be a little bit more. And I tell you why I did not ask for poll over here, but instead I asked for you to actually write inside the chat box. Do you think that AI can replace engineers like you and me, engineering professions, engineering technologies, engineering technicians? Do you think AI can actually go in and so type in your chat box? Go ahead and type in your chat box. I would like to see, nope, essentially still need to cover the governance. Very good point. No, not really. Or no one say, how come no one say yes? Yes and no. I like Zake. I think engineers do not use. Later we will discuss about that. I handles repetitive and that's where I would like to actually tell you AI doesn't just do repetitive work. It actually will create new things. That's the reason why we have generative AI. It is not just repeating whatever that you say or repeating a certain set of rules that you have, but AI actually can generate. And we also have agentic AI. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm seeing, but it's okay. You can keep on writing over there, and I would like to get on with the presentation. But this is interesting. I hope all of you very is enjoying the moment that we have over here. Because I would like to actually talk to you a lot more about this topic because this topic is dear to me. Yeah. So let's take a look over here. We have artificial intelligence. Yeah. So what exactly is the component of AI? So what exactly? So again, I was just now while you are still putting in inside the chat box over there, whether you think that the AI can actually replace an engineer. I didn't say human being. Yeah? I say engineer, engineering technologists, or engineering technicians. So, but now let us talk a little bit about the definitions. So, artificial intelligence. So, what exactly does artificial intelligence means? So, any technique enabling computers to mimic human behavior and decision making. So, artificial intelligence can actually learn whatever that I'm doing right now. You will be amazed. You can record yourself saying things, and then you can actually create your own persona who actually speaks and sound like you. That is amazing. Are you seeing me real? Are you seeing me live? Do you think that I am real or am I an AI? No, 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 you do not need to answer that in the chat box. Don't flood the chat box. Okay, so artificial intelligence is about machines trying to learn whatever that we do and trying to act on the things that we want them to act, or sometimes act on things that we pre-agreed with them that this is how you're supposed to act. Okay, that is really interesting, isn't it? What artificial intelligence really means and what exactly machine learning is. Because many people think that machine learning and artificial intelligence are the same thing. No, yeah. Machine learning is about statistical method enabling machine to improve their performance with experience and data. So this is where we feed in our information and it keeps on learning on the information that you provide. Say, for example, the computer generated for us just for example, I'm sure all of you speaks to your chat gpt, yeah, chat gpt, and then you ask chat gpt to provide you with some information, and then you say, you stupid, but no, that's not the answer that I want. I want my answer next time is without hyphen. And then you say that. And the next item is the machine has learned that you do not like hyphen and it doesn't use anymore. However, however, you must understand that machines also hallucinate. What do I mean by hallucinating? Ah, this is the part where you will need to pick up any of the issues that you see from my presentation over here, because the entire presentation that I have over here was generated by Notebook LM. Yeah, an AI that puts together this whole presentation. However, it is not perfect. It hallucinates sometimes. So I would like you to all to identify which part of it that my notebook LM actually hallucinated in the process of generating this. Yeah. And why this is important point? Because, you know, in order for us to implement AI in the oil and gas industry, we must understand what exactly is the artificial intelligence capabilities as well as their limitation. Because without you understanding that and also addressing that issue, then you are not doing any good in terms of your implementation. Yeah, because the study that I'm doing right now is, how much can you actually trust the machines to implement the things that you want to do? But again, to be fair, whenever that we are talking about machines over here, we are condemning, they are not trustworthy whatsoever. But can you trust human to actually conduct a perfect job? Probably not, right? Because human error plays the most part of the incident that happens in anywhere, mostly over in the oil and gas industry. Most are due to human error. Ah, so how do we want to reduce this human error? This is where we implement the use of machines, the use of artificial intelligence. But are they performing, better than human, or are they performing, less than human? But will the catastrophe that is conducted by machines will be even bigger than the catastrophe that is caused by human? That is a philosophical question that I'm putting, which is not covered in this course over here. So I'm not gonna like discuss on that. Okay, deep learning. What exactly is deep learning over here? This is where the advanced neural networks adapting and learning from vast amount of unstructured data. Oh my God, this is so important because oil and gas industries has started like many years ago. Even in Malaysia, it has started even, in the 50s, in the 40s. Yeah, with over in Shell, over in Miri area. So there's a whole lot of data that we accumulated over here. So advanced neural network adapting and learning from the vast amount of unstructured data. So where are all of this data comes from? Yeah, they are generated whenever that we conduct any kind of operations, exploration, development, we collect information, and this information comes into a database. And from this database, the analysis comes in. So deep learning will go into all of these areas. And also, just realize, I started off being a drilling engineer before, many years ago. But whenever that I encounter problems, oh, I have, a whole problem in this particular well. What do I do? What do other, people with similar wells are doing? So I had to run down over to the library to search for the wells information that is available in the library, and I have to flip through. And this take hours and hours of my time. But just imagine all of this information now is available to you just by clicking a few characters on your keyboard. That's where the deep learning comes in. They learn, and then comes out the generative AI. So system that synthesize as well as create new content. So it creates new contents. It comes up with text, code, scenarios. This is where digital twin is very, very important, because digital twins will actually let you simulate what actually will happen in the actual asset. You do not want to test on the real asset because you may blow out the entire platform. So you test it out on your digital twin. But how do you want to test? What kind of scenarios you want? You get generative AI to actually do that. So generative AI creates new content. But now you do have agentic AI. What exactly that is? So probably this one is not here, but that will be something that you can ask your chat GPT what agentic AI means. But now we will have fun quiz. So let's give it a try on a fun quiz so that all of you stay focused during my talk. Okay, it says over here, this fun quiz. Realize over here, fun quiz. I just want you all to, get a little bit of whatever that I mentioned. If you don't get, it's fine. It is fine. If say for example you get it wrong, it's fine. But oh, I can see everyone getting their answers right. Or you all copy yourself, isn't it? Or you ask the chat GPT to give you the answers. But we have true and false at the same level. Oh, that's nice. But because true and false, nobody may really know, isn't it? Oh, we actually have some. Okay. Which AI technology creates new content like reports or drilling programs? Okay. The answer is, of course, generative AI, because you generate new things over there. Yeah. So next question that we have is the Machine learning and artificial intelligence means exactly the same thing. Ah, if you have not been listening, 20% of you were sleeping, or the 20% came in late. So, yeah, it's okay. I- they are not the same. So, machine learning and artificial intelligence are two of the same different things, where machine learning is to learn things and artificial intelligence is there to mimic whatever that we do to try to be human. So, the answer is false. And the number three is which come first? Which one come first? This is interesting. Generative AI, machine learning, expert system, deep learning. The answer is expert system because you need to have the expert system. This is where people like me, will actually create a system. Okay, last time, probably if you are in engineering, you probably know what we call S4 trend. Uh, can you give me a thumbs up if you know what Fortran is? So Fortran is an old engineering language. So people don't use that anymore. But the answer is expert system. You need to have an expert system before all of these items actually comes in. Expert system is where I will put in all of the instruction and the instruction will go into actions. Which statement is true? AI only works with perfect data. Betul tak? Tapi AI sekarang bukan boleh. Oh, everyone can understand Malay, eh? Yeah, yes. Okay, everyone, AI is only works with perfect data. Are you sure? Because as I mentioned just now, my writing is not perfect. I can scribble down on the piece of paper and I can take picture and I can ask ChatGPT to just rewrite for me, and my writing is not perfect. So they can actually perfect some of the data. They can actually look at the data, find anomalies, and fix that anomalies based on the algorithm that you provide as an expert. AI replaces the engineer. Only 1% actually agree to that. Okay. And AI helps engineers make better decisions. Yes. And D, AI only works in drilling. Of course not. Yeah. Okay. AI helps engineers make better decision. Yes. Because AI does not replaces us. Will it? There is a question that you probably would want to ponder. But it is a question that people will always ponder. So right now it's at 11. I hope all of you do not require any breaks whatsoever. I promise you we will finish earlier if we didn't take a break. So I'm going to continue on with the session, yeah? Okay, all right. So or do we have questions? Do you have questions that I need to answer? Burning question. Anyone would like to actually? Oh, any question that I need to address right now? No.
That's one.
Mhm.
From Lucky.
Ah,
ChatGPT is an AI application and can do any type of request. How does ChatGPT manage such knowledge-based database?
let me see. Not entirely. Let me see down there. ChatGPT is an AI application and can do any type of request. Yes. How does ChatGPT manage such knowledge-based database? Oh, because this is where the large language machine comes in, where you it has its own engine. The engine basically um, contains whatever question that people have, and then it basically goes through at the high speed, yeah, high speed of more understanding. Of course, you can have a bunch of people handling your request at the same time as well. However, when you talk to ChatGPT, basically it goes into a certain set of engine where your request is being processed. So the data that it uses is based on the data that is available, public knowledge available through the website that they can go over and search very quickly if they have the access to the site. That's the reason sometimes whenever that you ask a certain question to ChatGPT that it does not have the knowledge or the data to refer to, it cannot give you the right answer. Say for example, but whatever the data that is presented to you is publicly available data. Yeah. What it means is that if you ask about confidential data that is never released to the public, it will not be able to tell you. Yeah. Of course, if you ask so a philosophical question about the existence of God and whatnot, so it can actually answer that because that has philosophical discussion is being discussed anywhere on the public domain, so it can actually go. So ChatGPT, how does the knowledge base database is being managed? That is what you have in ChatGPT. However, in the oil and gas industry, I love that you asked that question because this gives me the chance to actually talk about what we have in the oil and gas industry. In the oil and gas industry, the data are all very confidential. Yeah. So you will not be getting information about a certain geological model that has not been published. You probably have seen some geological model that has been tampered with, yeah, changed, and then it is presented at the as an example or as a demo data. You may be able to see that, but the actual data has never gone out to the public domain. Yeah. So, like Phasmia, we have an application, a drilling database application called FastDrill. It sits on the cloud. The database sits on the cloud so that it is accessible to all with proper access. Cybersecurity is really important in this case because we are dealing with confidential data, but at the same time as well, we want people not to be able to access the data. So AI can handle this, but not ChatGPT lah. Some other engine that we use that we can actually put a certain security level of access there. Yeah. Next question, deep learning uses neural networks and learning from unstructured data. Please give an example in the oil and gas industry. This is a really, really good question. So whenever that, say, for example, you have information like reports whatsoever that you have already digitized, you scanned it, and then it is inside in a PDF form. You can bring it into the engine, and the engine will scan through all of this information and make sense out of it. But again, it requires engine that is similar to whatever ChatGPT engine is all about and have it in the database that we have. So deep learning is really important. This is where we use different kind of tools, different kind of agents, yeah, that actually speaks together. So one agent is handling, say, for example, the scan data. One engine is doing digitization. One engine is analyzing the parts. So all of this engine will be communicating with each other, and that basically comes as agentic AI. And from agentic AI, this is where you will get the analysis. And this analysis will actually, gives you either a physical action or um, in the form of what do you call that? In the form of reports or dashboards, whatever that plays an important role in updating. Yeah. Okay. So we go inside here. Remember just now we talk about expert system. And then we go into predictive analytics and future, the generative AI. But the future is here lah, because you have the ability to synthesize the data. So take a look at the past where we have expert system. This is where I would go in, probably C plus, C plus plus, COBOL, Fortran, whatsoever. So the rule-based logic over here, I'm going to tell put in the code over there. If the the rotational per minute, the RPM has dropped to a certain level, then what? You stop drilling and check the specific tools. Yeah. So it's a hard-coded engine heuristic, meaning that you tell the computer this is what you're supposed to do in any cases. This is what you do. This is what you need to calculate and then compare the different sets of calculations. And then you come over to me and recommend this is what you should be doing. So I can do that, or I have done that as an expert system previously. So right now is about predictive analytics, where the pattern recognition comes in. When will this palm fail? How do I determine whether this pump will fail or not? The computer will ask, and then I will tell, okay, why don't you take a look at the maintenance record? Why don't you take a look at the sensor that we put on the pump? Why don't you take a look at the reading of the pump rotational speed? If it has actually reduced, then something is wrong. Then you need to tell me when I need to shut it down and change the pump or repair the pump. So you see over there, predictive analytics is to tell you a problem will occur before it occurs and actually stops the operation. What is so bad about stopping the operations? As you know, in the oil and gas industry, we work 7 days a week and 24 hours a day every single day. So 24/7 we call it, yeah. Not us lah, but we have shift lah. So, but yeah, not to scare anyone who wants to join in the oil and gas industry. It's not like really that bad. Okay. So whenever this is where when will this pump fail? So you need to be able to answer that. Now you can. And the future is where the synthesis comes in. Write a mitigation plan for anomaly. Okay, this is already available now, actually, because this is what we have, is what we call as SID, sending instruction for drillers. Because whenever that, and we have digital part of it where, for any anomaly, what do we do? What's next? It can actually give you a set of instruction for you to actually do because they have already figured out how to handle that. That basically takes away my job, isn't it? I'm a drilling engineer, so they don't need me anymore. Of course they do, because I still have to manage the whole process. Still have to monitor the machines. I still have to monitor what is the machine is learning. So all of this is really important. So general purpose AI is where example ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and so on and so forth. You have the strength, broad knowledge, summarization, limitation, lack domain specific because it doesn't have all the data that we have. So specific, in industry specific, it has the proprietary information, proprietary model. So what exactly is the model? What exactly is the data? So in order for the data to actually be able to, go in and make sense of data is on its own is totally useless. You need to be able to know how to make use of the data. Yeah. So this is where we come in. In the future, probably, data, but the machines will know what to do with the data. However, you still need engineers to actually think through because AI is changing so much and so fast, it scares me. But this must be used as an opportunity for us to actually, you know, produce more, increase our productivity, increase our efficiency. Yeah. So while I basically will take like probably 2 weeks to come up with such great presentation pack over here, I just did it in 5 minutes time, because I know what I wanted to say, pop, 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 and then I let the notebook LM to come up with this wonderful presentation in 5 minutes. You just imagine how powerful that is. And I can, just imagine the 2 weeks that I was supposed to be working on this PowerPoint presentation, I basically can do other things, yeah, like eat, sleep, and stuff. Okay, all right. So strength over here, this is where the deep reservoir and seismic and also operational accuracy comes in because this is what the strength of the industry specific AI and many companies and Phasmia is one of the companies as well that has a industry specific AI being implemented in our applications because we know the information that we have is confidential, and our clients basically would need the help to make sense of the data that they have. Yeah. But limitation over here requires highly specialized, structured, proprietary data, as well as people who comes in and QC the data because the data, if you just simply put in the data will not be good. And if you put in wrong data, then you get wrong information. So industry specific AI is really important in the form of how basically that it goes. Yeah. Okay, let me just go to the next. All right, the mapping. Let me just add that. Mapping AI across the asset life cycle. So exploration and geoscience. So this is where you get all of your three-dimensional model, Now we have four-dimensional model. So all of this, yeah, um, it's it needs to be shared across the life cycle of the asset. But if you are working in silo, which everyone else in the world is, not just Malaysia, yeah. Everyone else in the world is working in silo. You know, GNG is not talking to drilling, drilling is not talking to production, production is not talking to HSC, no, HSC, let me just, HSC is talking to exploration, drilling, production, as well as supply chain and commercial separately. Because, there is no entirely system that covers every single thing that is talking to each other. I think I accidentally admit the iPhone. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me just go back. Okay, and explore. So from GNG to drilling, GNG basically includes the geosciences or the subsurface engineering and all that. Yeah? So we have drilling, we have production, HSC, and supply chain. So for each one of this, yeah, has its own system, and they are not talking to each other. But if they are talking, they are probably whispering. Yeah. Why? Because we don't have a platform, a system that integrates everything there is. But again, there is no trust from each other, either from within the operator themselves or within the client themselves or the technology partner themselves, because there is no one company or one provider that can actually provide the tools for the entire asset life cycle. It's big, yeah, but how do we want to actually harmonize all of this data? That is one of the biggest challenge that we have right now, because we want the AI to be able to work across the asset life cycle, but it is not there yet. Yeah. No one is, because it is not easy. The data is not ready to be shared. The the confidentiality is not easy to be shared. Cyber security of each is not easy to be shared as well. So all of this is still working in silos. But there, of course, there are, shared services like HSC, the supply chain and commercial. They basically will work for on all of these areas to actually provide. So mapping AI across the asset life cycle is so important. Yeah. So, note number one, exploration and geoscience. This is what I was talking about just now, the model. So you see a nice looking model over here. You can understand over here. Ooh, there is a potential of oil somewhere over here. Wow. Oh, there's also gas. Oh, you are excited to see this, but what you didn't realize was how is this data actually comes in? How is this actually, I was there when this actually started, like putting digitization to digitalization to digital transformation, and now we are in the era of AI-driven operations. Yeah. So number one is seismic interpretation. AI accelerates fault tracking and horizon picking, and then reducing analysis time for months to days. So realize over here, yeah. So realize over here, if we don't have this, if we don't have this model over here, how does the geologist and geophysicist say, and also reservoir engineer actually work? It's basically printouts after printouts after printouts, color prints, but probably it started off as a black and white lah. Then they have color prints and everyone was like clapping hands. And then you have like, color prints that attach to each other. And then you have the color prints that goes on the board, one board. And then now you have like the model and the interpretation can reduce from months and months into days. I mentioned to you all, it took like probably 2 weeks for me to come up with the presentation. Now it's like 5 minutes now. Yeah. Yes, there is a question, a burning question, or do we want to wait until later? Do I have it?
Sales better than
Ooh, that's a nice question. But I'll put it to the end because I think it's important for me to go in the note one, two, three, and four, and five over here and get it done so that because we only have like 45 minutes. So yeah, if you're really interested in this topic, we certainly can talk more about it. You have Puan Aimi's information, you have my information. You can always ask that question offline. Yeah. So reservoir characterization, machine learning models integrate well logs, core data to generate higher resolution subsurface model. Wow, that is so important because this is where you would want um, integration. The integration between GNG and subsurface has gone in for very long already. Drilling comes in much later, but from geology, geophysics, as well as reservoir engineering, that is there for a very long time already because we do need that. Because you just imagine what is the work of reservoir engineer in the olden days? Because I'm a petroleum engineer, so I started off like that as well. So if you have this, yeah, so this is what we call a stratigraphic model, yeah. So what happened is that this is actually a contour. So what I will do is I will cut out contours after contours after contours. So probably 20 contours. And then I will calculate the grid and then I will count each one of the grid and I have to times each one of those. How big is the grid and how small is the grid determines how much oil that you have inside there. And how many days does that take? A long time. So with this technology that we have right now, not just put everything together, but tell me exactly which area has got oil and gas and water. That's amazing. Okay, prospect ranking, yeah, data-driven algorithm remove cognitive bias from complex portfolio decision. Okay, this is where human comes in. Whenever that you have human interaction in anything, you always have a question of whether the competency is there, the honesty is there, the ethics is there. So, because prospect ranking over here is where you want to know whether a certain area is good for us to go in or not and to proceed with the development, full development or not. It is such a big decision. And can you trust a human that has been there like probably 5 years, 20 years, 30 years in the industry? What exactly is the right number, isn't it? I mean, you probably have the person 5 years in the industry, but already know what is going on with that area and can make better decision and recommendation as opposed to someone who has 20 years of industry but has no experience at all working in this area. Jang, jang, jang. That's what you get handling with human. because I have to handle a certain project where I have to question all of this because I have to, decide on what will be the best for the project. So this is where, all of this node over here can actually be helped with our AI. Yeah. Note two, drilling operations over here. This is where the speed comes in. Drilling optimization, where the real-time parameters where as you drill you get the information, you get the possibility of problems where the reliability, predictive maintenance coming, forecasting thought drive or mud pump failures and so on and so forth, efficiency, well planning support, where using the generative AI, using the digital twin that we have, we can create all of this simulation and we can automate the program. But can we trust AI to do everything? How much trust do you have in AI? Very philosophical, isn't it? Now, yeah, because but usage of AI, even though it is technology, it is actually very philosophical as well. So I think if all of you are engineers, you will need to actually have that in your mind whenever that you want to do this. Yeah, cost saving is so important because um, drilling operations is so expensive. Um, we are talking about like 3,000 US dollar a minute. So if I sat over here for 1 minute and then, that's 3,000 US dollar. So, and that is a normal cheap operations, and we are not talking about the operations over in for the deep water horizon where it's 1 million US dollar a day just for the rig rates, not yet all the specialized equipment. So you just imagine how much money are we talking about from here. So the smallest non-productive time reduction is the greatest thing that you can actually have in the operations. Okay, production operation. Yes. Okay. Can give example with EPCIC. Okay. All right. This is from Encik Hafiz, Encik Hafiz Ashraf. It is more focused on the GNGM subsurface. Can you give example? Oh, yes, certainly. I am not what do you call that? An expert in the area of EPCIC. However, I have actually worked in some of the projects of uh, because whenever that you work in the project, you basically, have to consider all of that. Actually, the things that I'm going to talk about will actually explain as well inside here. But when we do EPCIC, it starts off from the design part, yeah. So from the design part, you can imagine having what kind of characteristic of the wells is going to be will determine what kind of platforms that you are going to build and where would be better position a certain um, equipment that you have, what kind of equipment that is required from the subsurface. So those questions you can actually have that on AI these days and actually be able to answer those information. Um, if you have heard about BIM, yeah, BIM is one of the things that we use as well inside here. Yeah. So let me just go in and talk about the production operations. Okay. Because digital twin is where we replicate the physical asset, yeah, use. So we have that turn into that, which is what we have on the right hand side. So from the left hand side, you go to right hand side. So right hand side is where I can play around with it. I can put in simulation inside it, and I can see what exactly is going to happen. And also, this is where the production forecasting comes in. If you were to shut down a certain equipment, what will happen to the entire production? So this is where it is really important for uh, petroleum engineers to know. Yeah, when I talk about petroleum engineers, we basically handle everything under the sun for the from subsurface all the way to the surface and all the way into design of the platform, because petroleum engineers need to know all of this, because we'll be asked to justify all of this in any kind of proposal that we put together to the higher management. So that's what I know all about the platforms, what equipment it requires, and so on and so forth, because that is part of the job that I need to do. Asset performance monitoring over here, continuous automated surveillance of choke valves and separators. So asset performance is where all of this part over here will have sensors, whether it goes up and down and so on and so forth. It will be able to actually tell you what whether it is performing well or it needs to be changed. But you probably will be questioning, if say for example, I don't have AI, then probably if it requires repair, then shut down a bit. But what you can do is whenever that you shut down one time, you can fix so many things because you already have predictive maintenance schedule. So you handle the problems before it actually stops your operation, stops your production. So it is really important to maintain the production. Yeah, to maintain the production at a certain level. So again, then the question comes in, all of this is based on demand. You probably would want to shut down the operations. Yeah, but very true. Whenever that you need to shut down the operations, that's where you need to do all of the maintenance work that needs to be done. Is it ready to be changed, or do I change it too often? So this is another question that you need to ask as well. So we as engineer would need to be able to answer that. Previously, I had all of that on the Excel spreadsheet. So now I can have all of those information just like that by asking my AI. Whenever that I have all of those inside there, then I will be able to actually go in and understand where it requires the change. Okay. Next is the note number 4. HSE is the most important part of the um, in any operations. Why? Because whenever that you have the HSC goes all the way to the top. Yeah. Whenever that there is incident happen whatsoever, it goes all the way to the top. The responsibility lays always on the CEO. Yeah. So if say for example you have a paper cut, although it sounds small, that information translate over to CEO. Yeah, because the CEO, why? Because HSC is not just about, of course, human lives. It also looks at assets. So, and it looks at the company's name, the how what it is like. So this is where we need to do risk prediction, environmental monitoring, as well as incident prevention. So prediction over here, this is where we take a look at all of the data, HSC reports. Okay, uh, incident. We're supposed to learn from whatever that happened before. So in each one of our our actions or our operations, we always ask the question of, has this happened before? If it happened, why haven't we learned about it? So the same thing as well when you have like well blowout, like Deepwater Horizon. We ask the question, has this hasn't this happened before? Yes, it has. But what has changed inside here? So it's a different kind. Oh, so you are looking at, the cement has not actually solidified and you let go of the pressure. We have that happen before. Why haven't you learned about it? So the question rise about that. This is where the HSC comes in because you need to look at the risk, yeah, from the risk assessment and then identify that risk assessment, identify, mitigate, reduce the risk, or just eliminate the entire risk. How? Don't do the operations, then you do, nothing happens. But if you don't do the operations, then you don't have production. So what's the use of you being there, isn't it? So this is where risk management is really important. How much of the risk taker a company will go? So this is where the leader, the CEO, will need to understand and also take responsibility of. So environmental monitoring over here, utilizing AI-driven sensors for early detection of fugitive emission. So in case in your flow over there, and then there is a potential of leaking, for example, or some parts over there because it is um overheated, then some emissions comes in. So all of that can actually be monitored, and you will need to shut down the operation if it happens, like there and then, as fast as possible. And AI can also predict this because you also have digital twin that is running at the same time. So this is where AI comes in. Incident prevention over here is where deploying the computer vision to monitor rig floor for PPE compliance. And then so this is the incident prevention. This is where, whenever that, say for example, people look at, that person didn't wear the PPE correctly, and then it will come up with the alert. Say, for example, the computer looks at the people hanging over on the monkey board over there, and then they are not wearing their safety harness properly. Then it will give out the alert. So incident prevention is really important because it stops people from getting hurt. So HSE AI is really important. Not many companies think that this is something that they would want um, to invest in. So that's the reason why when I said that, cultural and organizational barriers are the two key important parts in digital transformation or having an AI-driven operations. Note number five is about supply chain, yeah, supply chain and also the procurement and also what was it say here? Let me just close it up. And also the commercial part of it. Yes. Step one is the procurement analytics. This is where, when I was a drilling engineer, one of the things that I'm worried about is when the supplies is not uh, there. So what I will do is ahead of time, I will purchase my goods, equipment, especially the OCTG or the casing, tubing, and all that. And I will put that in the warehouse. And it takes up space because spaces are very expensive. And also, I will need to have it maintained. And also, I will need someone to actually to take care of it. And also, I need to pay for the warehouse rental. So much of the cost, isn't it? Now, with the procurement analytics, is where the AI will take a look at the usage over at the field and how much is available on the warehouse, and then pass on this message over to our supplier to get it ready because OCTG, especially OCTG, and most of the equipment over for the oil and gas industry is that the long lead time, meaning that you cannot get it like, belilah dekat Mr. DIY, tak boleh. All of this equipment, you have to put it together. There are seven people in the waiting room. There's where people actually will um, where all of these supplies will need to be replenished, and where the supplier can actually know what our usage is like and prepare to actually send, because it can take 6 months time or one time. And when we have the analytics put in inside there, all the planning can be done. Previously, the planning is being done by people, and people get sick, people get on leave, and people get changed, and people get fired as well. So all of this, plays an important role in terms of, who's going to ensure that the supply of my tubulars is going to be there. I have a critical operations to run, and I don't have time to actually, be calling everyone around the world to actually get my OCTG, or else, I won't need the procurement people, right? So yeah, this is where, the arguments will come in, and where AI can actually help smoothen things out. Second thing is inventory optimization. This is where I was mentioning over to you. The warehouse is where we can actually figure out how basically these critical spares are always available. Okay, as I mentioned, offshore operations is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it does not actually stop until the end. So it is really important that I have things just in time, lean operation, because as it is, I already spent so much money, and at the least I can do is save wherever I can. So this is where the inventory optimization and demand forecasting. So demand forecasting over is so important as well, because this is where I would want I can actually know when basically it needs to be replenished. Advanced model predict dynamic resource needs based on shifting risk schedules and market volatility. And also, I'm talking about people. I'm talking about people over here, not just the or the equipment, the supplies, not just about the logging tools or the beads or the drill pipes, not just that, but the people who comes along with it, the people that comes along to drilling operations or offshore, per se, will need to be properly they need to be properly trained. They need to have all the documentation. They need to have legal permits. They will need to, to be to meet the criteria. If I ask for the medic, then I want a medic, not just a radio operator, but sometimes radio operator can also be medic. The computer will need to know that. So logging tool, personnel. I would like to have people with more than 10 years experience, not just someone that just graduated from it, and those people who actually have gone into the courses that is required. So all of this will need to be managed. And last time I was managing it using the Excel spreadsheet. And if you see this spreadsheet, I think you will go crazy and tender your resignation there and then. Trust me, because it was so tedious, and I'm running an operation that has to change like probably 800 people at one go. And I was like, what? So, but I do have a lot of people who actually part of the team who actually look at all of this, but those are still under my responsibility. So I have to know how it is done. I have to know whether it works. And if the Excel spreadsheet, which has the colorful cells over there, doesn't work, then I have to take that responsibility. I have to answer to the client why basically I accidentally sent a junior when it was supposed to be a senior. I accidentally sent people with expired license for crane operations. They are capable. It's just that they need to go for a refresher course because that is a requirement. And someone else mix it up, but then I have to take the blame because that is my job. You see the importance of AI over there, and why basically I would want an AI to actually manage it. Yeah. So that's the reason why. And the hidden challenge that you see over here is data quality. So what you see at the top over there, you see AI dashboard, you see generative AI, you see all the predictive models, but what you didn't see at the bottom are the poor quality data. Who basically go inside there? When I was doing the digital transformation way back in the year 2000, the data was in a shambles. It comes in the form of Excel spreadsheet, words. It comes with the fax machine. Yeah. Do you all know what fax machine is? Can you give me a thumbs up? Anyone who knows fax machine? Okay. Okay, yeah. It comes in so different kind of like form, and the poor quality data is just there. And as siloed information across geoscience, And Shwada has raised her hand. Give me 2 seconds. I finish this and then I will let you speak. Yeah, siloed information across geoscience, drilling as well as production, and inconsistent historical workflows and complete lack of data governance, where people do not actually um, you know if they supposed to put in the data, they are not, so the data is blank. So it is very very hard for us to actually understand that the bottom part of the ice over there. Okay, we have some question from Shohada. Yes, yes, Shohada, if you would like to speak, go ahead. Shohada Mazda, you have question? Or I cannot hear you. Or you can type in your question as well. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Shwada. All right. We do have a lot of questions, but I only have 15 minutes. Let me just poll number four. We should do poll number four. Let's do poll number four quickly. Yeah. Let's do poll number four quickly. Okay. After today's session, how okay, never mind. You all can keep on doing that while I go in and yeah. Poll number. What's the biggest challenge? What is the biggest obstacle to successful AI? Oh, I love that lack of programmers is there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do later you will share the yeah. All right. Okay, so moving from failure to foundation over here. So why project fail? So of course, garbage in, garbage out, the silo effect, as well as the process friction. What exactly does it mean by process friction? This is where the process basically didn't communicate with each other. Yeah. So engineering data, for example, it has a standardized taxonomy. So it has a consistent naming convention and so on and so forth. I can tell you if well named from GNG to drilling to production into the HSE or the rest of the people, they will call it differently. I can say for example, take Raza for example. Raza as a field. Raza A is a platform. Raza A1 is a well. So some people would just write Raza small and then A space one. Yeah, everything small. And then come in another guy. They will put in Raza with the capital R space A space one. Come another guy who put in Raza dash big A and then space one. Then another guy comes in with the dash is not at the A, but it's at one. So there's so many ways of naming and computer previously, because that is what we hard coded it basically will understand only one Raza A1. What will happen to the rest of other 20 Raza A1? Yeah. So yeah, so let's take a look at the poll over here. Okay, the poll basically says, what is the biggest obstacle to successful AI implementation? 12% say lack of GPUs, and 18% says lack of programmers, and poor data quality 65%, expensive computers is 6%. Basically all of you are right, but AI per se, the strongest answer to me, again, this is a poll, that no one is right and no one is wrong. Yeah. The best answer for me, yeah, is poor data quality. Because without the data, AI will not know anything. Yeah. So, all right. So let me admit it's Hafiz, and then let's share the results, and then let me just close this. Okay, close this. Okay. All right. Operational data. Where does it come out? Say, probably you need to share. Because you share the result, you need to close the X. Yeah. Operational data. So high frequency time series data stream securely and cleanly. So this is where the data, operational data needs to come in, because operational data leads to real-time operations monitoring. Real-time operations monitoring leads to decision. What am I supposed to do? So I will pass on the message over to people at the rig, so basically they would know. Historical knowledge, digitized, searchable, as well as contextualized legacy report that will need to actually go inside there. So how do we build a strong foundation? Data. How do we want to make sure the data works? We eliminate the silo effect. How do we ensure the process friction is done? This is where organization digitalization effort has to be implemented. Whether we want it or not, digitalization is already here and will continue to actually be part of our life. To what extent? Nobody knows, because AI is moving so fast. And if we don't be part of the flow, then we are just behind. And nothing in this world that doesn't change. So we just need to be part of that change. So lessons from the front line over here. Speakers experience sharing. You have seen the real world well information management case studies that I was talking about, and some common denominator in successful digitalization program. What basically is needed whenever that you want to do digitalization, and how basically overcoming these pitfalls. I really hope all of you has at least got the the all of the knowledge that I'm trying to part over here. So realize in the oil and gas industry, when we talk about the digital literacy, critical thinking, and domain expertise, all of this is required. When we talk about data literacy, yeah, as well as digital literacy, realize data literacy and digital literacy, where understanding of the data structure and why data actually can be biased and the input quality, those are really important. And digital literacy is about fluency in navigating. You understand what AI is giving you. What exactly is digital twin? Work with it. You have the so much of opportunities out here with the generative AI that we have. So make use of those, because that is the first step into becoming someone who basically is chile IT. And also critical thinking. Okay, this critical thinking is not what we call as AI. AI can process the information, but you, as a human, we still will need to continue on thinking and actively question, because right now anything that I have question in my mind, I can ask ChatGPT, I can ask Gemini, I can ask Claude, and I can ask so many of the tools that we have right now. So do that. Domain expertise. Okay. What I believe, I may not be right. What I believe, core uh, core skills like engineering, your medical, or we are still relevant because we are the one that creates these tools. Yeah. So domain expertise like physics, geologies, mechanical, we are still relevant and we are still needed in this industry. It is non-negotiable bedrock of everything, But yeah, AI will help us to actually do our work better and to strategize. AI does not replace human being. It elevates human to the next level. And it is really up to you whether you want to see AI as a threat or AI as an opportunity for you to be better. Not just better in the form, in the sense of your work, better in the sense of your life. Even right now, you can do all of your planning using AI. There's so much that you can do. So make sure that all of you do that. Yeah. So men and machines, what AI can do and what engineers can do. Understand that. Yeah. Because judgment is still very important. We still need you to make that judgment. No, even if I say, for example, were to take care of everything by AI, there's a lost touch of human touch over there. We do not want that. We want to run operation with human touch and manage of risk, because at the end of the day, we take responsibility of the work done. You probably have used AI in your work, but at the end of the day, you take responsibility, full responsibility of what actually happens. So you all have seen this presentation pack. You have seen some of the issues with the presentation pack. That is because the machine actually has played a trick on me. Yeah. But so I just want to let you all know that the machines cannot be trusted fully, but you still need to exercise your judgment. Yeah. So the professional mandate over here, engine accountability remains with the engineer. Algorithm do not hold professional licenses. I do. Yeah, some of you do. Yeah. So responsible use of the new standards of excellence. So this is where, so if say if you I think in August, 17th of August next month, Board of Engineers Malaysia is doing a national engineering convention. So check out this national engineering convention, because we talk about engineering with integrity in the digital age, not edge, age. Yeah. So check out and understand what exactly that is. It is 12 o'clock right now. So understand the key takeaways over here. Um, not a replacement and whatnot. Road to AI, enable operation. So we do have poll number 5, but I don't know whether people are still around. We still have 140 people. Oh, wonderful. You still are around here, yeah? So, okay. And poll number 5, we want to do? Okay, let's do poll number 5. Let's see poll number 5. After today's session, how do you feel about AI in oil and gas? Oh, excited. Great. 62% of you are excited. 66%. You want to build AI skills. Yes. Let's do that and understand AI much better now. Alhamdulillah, that now the knowledge is yours forever. Yeah, take that knowledge, use that knowledge. And I hope if you have more questions, I probably do not have time to actually and you come and meet me at any of the sessions that I have as well. So great that most all of the people over here are very excited to learn more. 57% of you, so most of you are very excited to do this. And this has learn about Fazima technology as well. Scan over here if you would like to have more information. And lastly, I would like to tell you that intelligence was spelled wrongly. So, thank you very much, everyone, for joining in the session. And I hope to see all of you. Shuhada still raises her hand. Would you like to speak, Shuhada? Go ahead. It's 12:01, so all of you can go. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope to see you all again sometime.